So here's the game we're about to create. As you can see, it's got a fancy font. So we'll see how you can download fonts. And we've got a little splash screen here. And click on the button. Now the idea is that the background scrolls and these ducks come on at random speeds. Instead of the mouse pointer, we've got a gunshot sight, a reticule. And we get a certain amount of time, and we see how many of the ducks we can hit in that time. And so you've got all sorts of sound effects going on. So that's the general idea. Let's get on with creating it. Now, to make a scrolling background, you need to have 3 images. So we've got here 1, 2, and 3. And the idea is that as they move to the right, the last one on the right moves 3 spaces back to start the sequence again. Right, here I am in Unity. I've just started my new game called DuckShoot. I've just got a sample scene which I'll save as main. So in the scenes folder, main. Okay, so I've just got a camera here. I've imported a few assets, including in an images folder. I've got the sky, the reticule, gun sight, and the ducks. What I'm going to do in this session is to animate the sky by making it scroll to the right with the clouds drifting by. Right, so just to have a look at it, I'm going to put the sky on the screen, make sure it's 0, 0, 0. Now, I was very careful when I created this sky to make it 3 times 800, that's 2,400 pixels wide and 600 pixels tall, thinking it will fit beautifully inside an 800 by 600 screen. But as you can see, it doesn't fit at all. This is because Unity uses its own units. Remember, it's really a 3D program, so it has its own world units. So what we need to do is to scale this to match the world units. I could do it by dragging this box out here as we did before, just to resize things, but there is a more efficient way of doing it, which we'll have a look at now. So back here in the project window, I'm selecting Sky, and looking at the inspector, we've got here, it says we've got 100 pixels per unit. That's Unity units. So every 100 pixels will give you 1 Unity unit, which doesn't quite fit our workings here. I found by experience that 60 is the magic number. So I'm going to put 60 in here. I need to apply that, and we can see that it fills the screen beautifully now. Okay, so remember now that 60 pixels on the screen is 1 unit. Now the next thing we need to do is to split up the sky into 3 different sections. Now, as I showed in the animation, what's going to happen is that all 3 are going to move across, and then this one is going to nip over there and join on the left-hand side. If you want to do this for yourself, one thing you must be careful of is that there's no visible join between the left of the left-hand unit and the right of the right-hand unit. So in this case, I haven't put any clouds right on the edge. Okay, that's quite important, otherwise you'll get some sort of edge there. Right, the next thing I want to do is to divide this up. So instead of having single sprite mode, I'm going to multiple. Okay, and I'll apply that. Now the sky has disappeared here because we're moving it, so I'm going to remove it from the hierarchy and go back here. Right, so what I need to do now is to use the Sprite Editor to do our chopping. Right, so there we have the picture. So if I slice it, now the type of slicing is not automatic this time because it'll try to find objects to slice. And I'm going to do it by cell size. And I know that each cell is going to be 800 pixels wide and the 600 pixels tall, so using the conventional X and Y. I slice it, and now I find I've got 3 slices. It's called Sky 0, Sky 1, and Sky 2, which is great. So I need to apply that, and I can close the Sprite Editor now. And what we should see now, if we go to Sky in the project window, we've got 3 images, Sky 0, Sky 1, Sky 2. Now Sky 1 is the middle image, so I'm going to drag that. Before I do that, I'm just going to create an empty object and call that Sky, just to keep things neat really. And I'm going to drag Sky 1 on top of that, so make sure it goes actually on top. You've got that little symbol there, and that's the middle part of the sky, so it's on 0, 0, well, 10, that's fine. And yeah, drag Sky 0 on top. Now that's also 0, 0, but I need to move that across, so I'm going to do that and just move it over slightly so that it just meets. Okay. Tricky that. That'll do, I think. And then Sky 2. Again, pop it over the top of Sky, and I move that across that side. Okay, again, make sure it meets. And neaten that up a bit. See, there's a bit of a gap there. So I think 13.3 should do it. That's nice. Okay, and Sky 0, I'm going to make that 13 minus 13.3. Minus. Okay, so I can't see any gaps in the sky now. Great. Now the other thing I think I'll do is put them on the background sorting layer. So I'm going to add a sorting layer here. I shall make this background. Okay, then back to skies. Sorting layer, background, and the same with these. Lovely. That should put them right in the background. Now the next thing I need is a little script just to move the sky images across. So remember that the idea here is this first, well, all 3 images are going to move off to the right, then this one will zip behind to the left and then carry on again. So they all have the same movement, so the same script should work for all of them. And in the scripts folder here, I have put in a move sky script. So let's just have a look at it. It's very simple. Right, so this is the move sky script. And I've got 2 variables here, a public float, which is the scroll speed, how fast the clouds go across, and I put a default value of 2 there. Remember the F saying it's a floating point number. The next thing is I want the screen scale, because I need to make sure that I move the thing back the right number of Unity units so it attaches to the left-hand side. Right, so here in the start function, I've set the screen scale, which is here this function screen.width will return the width of the screen in pixels, in which case we've set it to be 800. And the scale there, we're going to divide it by 60 because it's 60 pixels per unit. Right, now in the update, which you probably remember happens every time the screen is refreshed, I'm creating a local variable, the vector3 type called skypos, and I'm going to put the position of this section of the sky, whichever section it is. And then the next line here, 21, I'm going to move it right a small amount by adding on the scroll speed, but scaled by time.delta time, otherwise it would be too fast, much too fast. So that moves it slightly to the right with each update. Now the next thing we're going to do is check if it's gone off the screen. So the rightmost section of the sky was at 13.3. So I'm reckoning that at 13.3 it's off the screen. So if that's the case, then what we need to do is move it back by 3 screens. So what I've got here is 3 times the screen scale. Right. And then the last bit is here, so I put skypos back in the transform position. So I reposition that section of the sky. So that's all there is to it. Let's go back to Unity. Let's attach to Unity. No issues found, so I should hope. Right, so all I need to do now is to add that script to the 3 sky sections. It doesn't really matter which order I do it in, as long as I do it to all of them. So there we go. Move skies in that one. Move skies in that one. And move sky is in that one. Let's see if it works. And there we go. The clouds are scrolling off to the right. And what's going on in the background is that last one is zipped onto the other end, waiting to come around again. And as you can see, because I haven't put any clouds in the join, it's seamless. So you can use this with any sort of continuous scrolling background you like. So if it happens to be stars, that's fine. Yeah, no problem at all. Just remember not to go right up to the far edges. Okay, next time we'll animate some ducks.